Incredible demonstrations for our friends at Grease and Gears Garage, presented by Cycle Source Magazine. We are getting ready to start our very first presentation from Grease and Gears right here at the Progressive Main Stage. Come on over and grab a seat, friends. We've got plenty of room over here. Come on over. Don't be shy. They're going to be up here all weekend long, showing you all sorts of incredible demonstrations, custom bike builds, bike interviews, all sorts of great stuff going on. So come on over, friends, right now here at the Progressive Parlor and Progressive Main Stage.
Yeah. All right. My name's Pat Jansen. I'm hiding over here behind the red curtain, and now I'm handing Corey from Nomar some stuff. You guys that are out here, all the Progressive staff and everything, you'll think it's weird that I'm talking to you, but we're Facebook Live, so we're right here the first day of the Progressive International Motorcycle Show with Grease and Gears Garage. Just to let you know what Grease and Gears Garage is all about, we're just a bunch of greasy mechanics that the motorcycle show here for the tour for the 7 cities is invited to bring our tools up on the stage and bring our friends in from all over the country to show you and talk about what we do in our shop. So we'll be narrowing tanks, building tanks from scratch. We're building a complete motorcycle called War Pony from the first show in Long Beach all the way to the last show in Washington, D.C. We're going from scratch. It's this bike that's over here. And today, what we're going to be doing during this little bit of time that we've got on stage is Chris is leaving. Okay, he's going to come right back. We're going to talk a little bit about the wheels that Chris chose for War Pony, why he chose those, and then we're going to throw it over to Corey. Corey's going to tell us why he wished Chris had chosen some different wheels. And now there's some things about wheels that oftentimes make it a little more difficult to mount tires and balance and do that kind of stuff. So we'll talk to Corey. But Chris, do you mind talking to us a little bit about the wheels you chose for War Pony? And I'll grab one.
Yeah, so when we were looking at building this bike, it's obviously going to be an FXR sporty style build, more performance based. And in that, we didn't want to do exactly what everyone else is doing with an FXR. So we decided to go with a different style of wheel, even though the first 10 phone calls I got after I put a picture of what this was going to look like in a rendition with these wheels were guys going, how come you're not using mags? And I'm like, well,
because we're doing something a little different.
So we reached out to Sam at Ride Right. One of the reasons why I have to give Sam mad props is because the front end we're using on this bike is a GSXR. You guys have watched these last couple episodes through New York City and Long Beach. You see all the stuff that we're going through, doing the work on the GSXR front end to get it to work on this application. Well, the front wheel is another consideration for that. Because you're dealing with a 25 millimeter axle and the way that the axle is held on with the lower legs, it's not like anything that you can change. You know what I mean? So we reached out to Sam. Sam was nice enough to take the configuration that would be a GSXR and actually build it into a set of his custom V-twin wheels for us. So we're going to end up with the look of some nice custom V-twin wheels. And they actually, we've already bolted it onto the front end. They bolt right on. Stock spacers. It works with the stock braking on the GSXR and everything. It's perfect.
Right on.
Absolutely perfect. So
it's awesome.
In addition to that, we're also using an uncommon set of tires, because, again, we didn't want to go with sport bike style tires. We didn't want to go with, will be like a traditional V-twin tire. So we went with something that's a little different, a dual sport set of tires. We got some really cool Pirellis that came in today from Dennis Kirk.
All right, on.
Nice.
They got a really cool tread pattern. So this is going to be our front tire. And a nice match set of these, big, beefy. This is going to be a really strong, robust motorcycle, so we want something that really represented that. In addition to that, it's a Pirelli Scorpion tire.
Now, Chris, when you were growing up, I know we're about the same age. You're probably maybe 15, 20 years younger than me, but when you were growing up, did you ever think you'd put a set of Pirelli tires on a bike?
You know what's funny about that? So it was about, I bet you 15 years ago, I ran my first set of Pirellis, and it was on my 81 Shovelhead. And this bike Me and a guy named Jim Libonetti from Megaflow built this motor. It was the world's fastest shovel head for me. 110 foot-pounds of torque. It was just like, 2,500 RPM.
Nasty.
It already had 90 foot-pounds of torque. So, like, right when you grab for throttle, it was like a rocket ship. It was literally like an old muscle car. Well, I was looking for a more performance tire. I'd been running, Dunlops forever, and then the old ME80s. And a friend of mine turned me on to the Pirelli tires at the time. And, man, once I started running those, I was running them all the time on that bike because you could really throw it into bends and stuff. And it freaked people out when I come out with this big, crazy stroker shovel head, And
riding it like that. Yeah, man, it was, I don't know what we ran growing up. I guess it was Dunlops and Metzler's ran for a long time.
The ME80, I've made a mistake. This is actually the front tire. But the ME80 of the time, dollar for dollar, man, you got incredible mileage out of those tires. I still wish they made them today.
Yeah.
I'm a big
for long distance riding, they were awesome.
Yeah.
You could go a long way on those tires.
Yep.
So you've chosen the Ride Right wheels for us. Chris gets to make all the chooses on the bike. The other day he was sending me pictures, said, "How's this look?" I almost responded, "It really doesn't matter what I think. You don't give a damn. You're going to do what you want to anyway." But no, he makes good choices. He's a great designer, got a good eye. So, but he just choose the wheels and the tires for this, and that's going to be a great combination. It's going to be different than what anybody else is doing on an FXR. So,
and that's hard today. That's one of the things, like we said in the very beginning, when you set out to build a motorcycle, you get your design concept solid, and then you have to stick to that. You know what I mean? If there's, like, we had a couple problems already with parts and this and that, and like you
got to make it fit. Then
you have to figure it out because you've already committed to that design. If you let go a little piece here, a little piece there, pretty soon you're halfway through the build and you're like, this isn't where I wanted to go with this at all.
Right. Yeah, you got it. And that Chris is always a big proponent of that. And boy, he drills that. He's drilled that into my head as well. You design the bike, you commit to what you're doing, and then you don't relent on that. Otherwise, you're going to end up putting a lot of time and a lot of money into something that you're just not happy with because it wasn't the bike that you wanted at the beginning. So whatever you got to do, come hell or high water, then you're just going to do it. So
we knew that coming into this show that the wheels and tires, everything was going to show up at the same time. And I am the world's worst mechanic for changing tires, for putting tires on. Whenever I have, whenever I have brand new custom wheels, I never touch them myself. And I was so excited because a couple shows ago, we actually had Corey and the guys from No More come up and they did a segment for us and they showed us their equipment. And I was like so excited about that because I feel like this is something I could have in my shop that would even take that fault away from me. So
you've got to, because I've got this, and I come out of that, for years you wouldn't speak to me because I was in the production chopper world, all those guys. Chris was still being very grassrootsy, and I was decided that I was going to go where I could make a lot of money. So was doing the production custom motorcycle thing.
How'd that work out?
It worked out great right until it all went under, but now Chris and I are back together. And but those guys started cutting. Every company was cutting their own billet wheels.
Yeah.
So if you messed up one of their billet wheels, you couldn't just order one, and it wasn't any sneaking around a customer and keeping that. And even if you did order another one, then you were stuck with a wheel that you couldn't match with anything. So, it was a real problem. And when I ran into the Nomar stuff, man, this is just the deal. Now, we've got one of the Kardashians with us. That's not true. But every time I see it, it's Corey Kazarian. But every time I see his last name, I want to call him a Kardashian. But, Corey, how long has Nomar been around now?
Nomar's been around for almost 14 years. We are the last American-made tire changer for motorcycles, specifically branded for motorcycles, but you can do other vehicles, ATVs, dirt bikes. I actually used this changer to put tires on my car last month. I'm a hands-on guy as far as that goes. The key thing is we don't scratch wheels. That's the most important thing. From the blocks, bead breaker, the bar, no metal touch the wheels. That's what we're known for.
And for guys, it doesn't matter. If you've got your own bike, obviously you and your buddies, maybe you got a community shop like the shop that was just up here. But you don't want to scratch your wheels, but if you own a shop and you're charging people to do this, you sure don't want to scratch their wheels. This saves me. And so what happened to me was, after I got this, now I'm not as fast as you guys. One of you did one in 38 seconds or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. But it allowed me just to go as fast as I could changing a wheel, as opposed to having to stop and be super careful. And that, because I went from probably 5 minutes a wheel. Well, I went from probably 15 minutes a wheel to 5 minutes a wheel. So it saved me. And in a shop, that's money. That's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A set of tires, that's 20 minutes. All of a sudden, you're starting to check up some real money there that you're saving by being able to go faster, because you're not going to scratch your wheel. So which one do you want to start with?
Go start with this one right here. These are spoke wheel. With the Nomar, you'll actually have to use the blocks to break the bead. We use the posi clamps to grip the wheel. But since the wheel has no tire takeoff, now these wheels are a sealed wheel. And what I've run to, actually, we do have a shop in St. Louis that we run. I run it. And they call these a sealed wheel. Basically, they pack the spokes full of silicone. Well, it's a neat idea. The downside is they take a half-inch drop center and fill a quarter-inch of it with silicone. So you lose overall a half-inch of drop center, which can make putting a stiff tire on difficult. The Pirellis aren't too bad. They've got a little flex to them, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Well, we knew that, Corey. That's why Chris used the Pirellis, because he knew these were going to be easier with it. No, we didn't know any of that.
I wish I could tell you what I knew.
I wish somebody would discover something we do that is just that smart.
And it's not.
It's not going to happen. I've been doing a lot of stuff for a long time. Nobody's ever accused me of doing anything smart on purpose.
So this is somebody off the side of stage pointed out today. This is like the 150th time that we're putting this front end back together. And if you guys are watching at home and you're noticing that same thing, that's the truth. This is what it takes, you know.
You're going to take it on, you're going to take it off. You're going to take it on, you're going to take it off. What's that?
That's easy like that. Do it on a bike that's fully tracked.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a whole boat sitting on the stand right there.
I moved into my house in Iowa from Atlanta, and my neighbor, before he moved, he said, "What do you do for a living?" And I just I didn't really say anything, because I saw that he had a motorcycle in his garage. One day when he came home, he opened the thing. And finally, he found out, because he saw my shop door open, and he had a Goldwing. He had an old Goldwing he was rebuilding the motor on. So I got to rebuild the motor on a Goldwing, it turned out.
What's up?
Yeah. I don't know, he moved. He had beautiful 10 acres with a pond and a house and a shop there. I moved in. He lasted about 4 months, and he got out of there. Maybe I'm not so good a neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
It's Iowa. Everything's nice in Iowa, right? All right, what do we got, Corey?
So I got our wheel mounted up on the posi clamps. The reason we use the posi clamps is they allow this cutout here, let the tire hang over. All your choppers, your Harleys, your cruisers, your dirt bikes have a tire that's a lot wider than the wheel. This cutout lets that tire hang over, so we don't have to fight it. Takes the work out of the job.
And these are urethane bushings that are on there?
Yeah, it's a hardened plastic.
Okay.
That way, again, it doesn't scratch the wheels. It grips from the outside of the wheel, not the inside. Like you see, a lot of them are the automotive type ones that just take paint with them. You got it locked in securely. Don't have to tighten it super tight, but get it in there to where it won't spin. We use our lube. It's a vegetable-based lube. And with this silicone center, it's key. Use a handful of it. Just lightly put it in the drop center all the way around. This works with tubes or without tubes, doesn't matter. Put it on this edge here. Basically all the high friction areas, let the tire slide on easily.
That's about it.
This is kind of like the same idea that if you were ever put on a grip on a handlebar, you're going to want, of course, you want that to stay on. So, but you like squirt hairspray in there so it'll slip up on there a little bit.
Dual brakes?
What's up?
Dual brakes?
Yes. Let me make sure that's
the front wheel.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Here, you can pull that one out. I should have pulled them both out. Yeah,
that's the rear.
You know how you can tell if it's the front or the rear? Usually the rear tire's on the back of the motorcycle. So it's easier when they're on.
One that makes the smoke.
Yeah, it's easier when they're on.
That's what I really can't wait for this bike.
With smoke in the rear tire? Oh, yeah.
110-inch S&S motor. Yeah, buddy.
So I get my mark lined up. I use our spoon bar to get that first bead popped on. It makes it helpful.
But again, their bar has the plastic on it as well, so you're not gonna
scratch the wheel.
Scratch the wheel, man.
I've actually got a set of billet PM wheels on my bike. I'm not afraid to use our changer.
For you fat people, this is like me. This is the same way we get dressed every morning. You take the shoehorn and not you, sir. Not that you're fat. Because I was fat.
So I got the first bead on. Got my dot lined up.
The dot lines up with the valve stem.
This is so good for me to watch because, like I said, I brutalize nice rims.
Oh, yeah. These things are so nice. I got mine from J&P Cycles, the world's largest distributor of aftermarket motorcycle parts.
And again, we make these tire changers in St. Louis, Missouri. They're 99.9% made all in-house. We don't do our own powder. So I got my bar set.
Compressor?
A yellow thing tool, fantastic little device. It's a bead keeper.
Oh.
Basically just hangs out there. Neat thing is with our changer, if you ever use or seen a lot of changers used, a lot of times you're pulling, you're braking, you're back, you're fighting it. With us, we actually push. So I'm going to use my legs, not my back. Use my hand to hold the bar, take my free hand, push that tire in the drop center. Essentially just driving with this leg. Almost broke a sweat, but not really.
Look at that.
So with us, you can get your wheel off your bike, you can change your own tires, save time and money. Works great just fine with two type. If I had the tube in here, I usually put through the stem and the wheel. Wad the tube up, put the first bead on, stuff the tube in, air it, deflate it, that way the tube gets all the wrinkles out of it, run around like normal. Then the bar,
well, it's a good
sharp,
trick.
Won't cut tubes.
And that's a good trick, too, to air up the tube. I know a lot of guys, seen them, they'll shove the tube in there, and then they get it all on, and they'll take it, and they go to air it up, and that tube is, and they don't realize it when it's in there. And the tube's not going to last long if it's twisted in there.
Yeah, if it gets a twist or a crease in it, it'll rub on itself and wear a hole through in a couple hundred miles.
Yep.
Yeah. Or sometimes I've seen the tube come up from other shops where you can see tube between the tire and the wheel, a little bubble just sitting there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not that I've ever done that, Corey.
I've heard of it being done. So there we are. Tires all mounted up. Still got paint on it.
Look at that.
Not a scratch.
Hey, Chris, that's sexy right there. You getting excited now?
Saved your paint for you.
All right.
Listen, there's those couple things that you know better. I know better than to touch nice shiny wheels. I really do. It's not my thing.
Look at that.
So I go on ahead and move on to the second wheel and tire.
Yeah, Chris, he's got a question for you.
When I walked by earlier, you said you were putting a GSXR front end on this.
Yeah.
How do you decide whether that front end's going to fit on what
Here you go. Do that. We're Facebook Living it, so that'll let everybody hear it.
So how do you decide what front end will work with the frame that you're using?
Well, that front end won't work with the frame. So what we had to decide was it going to be possible? What we looked into right off the bat, and let me get some visual aids to show you.
Where you going, man? I thought we were going to get to know each other. Now you're just walking away.
The stock neck stem is the big issue because we're dealing with American size inner diameter for the American bearings that are in the American frame with a metric neck stem. So the question is, would we have enough surface area to remove to allow for the American inner diameter of the bearing, right? And we did. We took off, few thousandths. I forget what the exact measurement was. But what we found out is in the metric bikes and sport bikes, they like to keep everything light. And because of that, they drill them out. You know what I mean? And it's aluminum. What we ended up with, when we got our bearing surface area down, we had a 188 wall thickness, which if this was a piece of stainless steel or even mild steel, that would probably be okay. But because it was aluminum, we didn't feel real comfortable with it. So we started completely over, took all the measurements here, and made our own new neck stem out of stainless steel, pushed this one out, pushed the new one in. There we have a GSXR. I mean, other than that, the length of the fork, everything else, there's some modifications. If you look up here, one of the modifications we actually did today, I'm just going to slide this over for 1 second. When we first got into town, a buddy of mine teaches at Lakeville.
Hey, this is like our garage. Why don't you come around the side and just come up on stage, and then you can see what he's doing.
Yeah, come on, we'll show
just
you.
Walk right around. That's what Grease and Gears Garage is. For those of you that are just joining us, it's just some greasy mechanics. We brought our tools. They're giving us 7 shows on tour to do this, and we're just letting you kind of hang out in our garage.
What's your name?
And participate in what we're doing. We're building a bike from scratch on all 7 shows.
So what I was telling you is we managed to shorten our neck stem a little bit, too, at the same time. It gave us exactly the same posture of an American set of triple trees. And if I can find it, we machined our own top nut, clearanced out the GSXR top tree so that we can mount this just like you do your American front end.
Now, we do have a friend named George Stinsman at Chaos Cycle, who last weekend in New York came up, and there's only one produced right now. He's actually got a set of triple trees that will let you put 50-millimeter forks on virtually any bike there is.
He makes a really nice product. You buy the whole kit from him. It comes with the spacers, everything you need.
Yeah, it just bolts right on. So we had to do a little massaging on this one. Sure.
Now, when we rolled into town today, this is one of the things that you'll face, too. We didn't want to mount the headlight like you would on a typical GSXR, so we cut this aluminum block out. We went up to Lakeville High School where our friend Kevin Bass teaches industrial arts, and we machined this and he welded it on for us. So now we have a block where we're going to be mounting our headlight in the traditional way that you would a V-twin motorcycle.
Yeah, Kevin used to teach at Kennedy.
Yeah.
And I had 2 kids that went through his
Did you?
program. Yeah.
Right on. He's going to be here on Saturday at 5 o'clock, I think, his segment.
Yeah, tomorrow at 5 o'clock,
yeah.
He's going to be up here doing one of our segments.
Yep.
That'll be neat.
Yeah.
I'll come back to see Kevin.
Cool, man.
So only one other thing I can say about this. There's a possibility, depending on rider weight and motorcycle weight, there's a possibility you might want to go up in spring weight because the average GSXR is going to weigh somewhere around, 550, 600 pounds. This motorcycle probably going to be closer to 750. So fortunately, there's a company called Race Tech. It does make a drop-in spring kit. It gives you some heavier springs. So a lot of people doing this stuff now. So this is not by any means brand new stuff that we're breaking, but kind of neat. Gives you a different look.
But this kind of information for guys like me that want to change over something, I want to pull a bike out of a boneyard and put updated parts on it.
And this
is invaluable.
That's where it started. We bought this front end when we were in Long Beach for $600 on eBay. How could you beat that? We got the handlebars, the clip-on handlebars, the controls, the throttle housing, the cables, the brakes, everything for $600 out.
And we're using the drivetrain out of Chris's 2003 Ultra Classic that he loaned to a buddy. Unfortunately, the guy didn't get too banged up, but the bike got totaled. Yeah. So we're using the built drivetrain out of that to put in this. So, being able to find parts like that, absolutely. You can drag something out, find parts and build it, and that's what the fun of building a custom motorcycle. That's the true definition of a chopper.
That's what my kids did in Kevin Bass's class. He had a 49 Harley motor. They built everything else.
Yeah, this is actually, the bike sitting over here is a Lakeville project. Yeah, that's the one they're in the middle of right now. So
right on.
All right.
Well, Corey, go ahead and show us how you're going to mount this rear one up. Hey, thanks, appreciate it. What's your name? Jim. Pat Jansen. It's good to meet you, man. Stop by anytime. We're here.
So just like the other wheel, lube up all the high friction points, including the drop center. And our spoon bar always comes in handy on these Harley and custom builds. Again, no metal touches the wheel, so it's scratch free. Generally, our changers are bolted down to the ground. For the shows, we use a steel plate here, which works a little bit, but it is a little flexible. Generally, bolted down to concrete, it wouldn't move, which usually gives you a little more leverage.
My last shop, I had my No More machine mounted on locking casters. I put it on a big heavy steel plate and locking casters, and that way I could move it around. I could pull it out to the middle. I could take it to shows with me and stuff.
Nice.
Like that. Yeah.
This one actually does have an option for a hitch mount. If you do travel, but do something outside, you can actually put it in a 2-inch receiver and be portable, take it to races, track days, events, friends' houses, tire changing parties. We hear that happens.
I like this part right here.
This is always the coolest part, so I'm not going to break it back, not going to break a sweat. More importantly, I'm not going to scratch my wheels. Just walking around. Man, my arm too close. I ran myself out of room. Started too far over. Quick adjustment.
There we go. Which is another nice thing. He just was able to do that and not scratch his wheel.
And tires on.
Yeah, that's
Even taking my time, it takes less than a minute.
Who does it in 38 seconds? You?
Steve can do it. He's supposedly done it in less than 38 seconds. I've been with the company for going on 7 years now. I change more tires now than he does, and I'm always curious. We talked about doing a challenge, doing a race, to see who's faster. I think I can beat him now.
That's amazing, though. So
I mean, at our shop, I can change it. Now, bring a sport bike in, I can change a whole sport bike in about 40 minutes, not rushing. That's taking them off the bike, changing them, putting them back on the bike.
You know, and guys, if you own a shop, that's money in your pocket. If you're just riding a bike and you've got buddies and you guys want to invest in something nice, it's No More machine. It's just really easy. You got different models of them, but kind of how do they price out?
We've got an entry-level model. It's called our Cycle Hill, or our CH100. It starts off as low as we got them for $389 right now. Normally $465. This is our classic model, our most popular one, with the posi clamps. If you get it fully set up with everything, you're going to be about $900 to $1,000 all in for all the tools, balancer, and everything. But it normally is $645. We've got them here at the show for $580. Our top of the line shop in a box pro model will change tires on anything from a golf cart up to a small semi. I've changed semi tires on it. Fully loaded, everything, every tool you need, $1,600.
Now, the orange one.
CH200.
CH200.
Yes.
All right.
It's similar to this model. Our orange models basically mainly differ from the white models in the fact that the bead breaker is on the ground. So with this model, I've got my bead breaker at waist level, which is nice. Whereas the orange one, you put your wheel on the ground, break the bead, then raise it up.
Yeah, that's the one I've got is the orange model. So, yeah, that's the...
You can actually get an upgrade kit for that one, and it'll add this upper level bead breaker and the blocks.
Yeah.
So you get both bead breakers.
Well, and that's what we had talked about, I think, in Long Beach. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. That's what I want. I'm going to do those. I'm going to do that upgrade.
I've got one with me.
I got to like that. That is really cool.
So again, no metal touch the wheels, scratch free. It's an investment. A machine that you buy that pays for itself. Most time, a standard change will pay for itself in about 4 or 5 sets of tires, depending on what you pay. Shops.
Absolutely. Well, Corey, always fascinating to have you guys here. I don't do it as fast as you do, probably just because I'm lazy, but I'm always amazed with No More, and thanks for helping out with the War Pony.
So we actually are having a little bit of technical difficulty today with the power and the compressor, but we were hoping that we were going to get to actually inflate these tires and go through the process of balancing. Luckily, Corey actually brought another wheel so that we could sub this.
He's a thinker, yeah.
You got to think ahead.
He's better than
go
us.
ahead and walk us through now. We've mounted them. Now show us how you use your balancer.
Of course, mount them up. You got to inflate them. You can't inflate them. You can't balance them correctly. So I brought my wheel. With our balancer, actually, you get the frame. You get our center rod. You get 2 sets of cones, which fit almost all bikes out there, unless you have a BMW or single-sided wheel, then you need a wheel adapter. With this,
Well, guys with BMWs take theirs to the shop anyway because they got a lot of money.
yeah. There's a joke out there about the BMW. So basically, you just sit it up on top of the balancer lightly and let gravity do its job. Walk off, grab a sandwich, go get a drink or something. It takes
All right, Chris, sandwich and drinks, he said. He
That's
said we should walk off.
Gravity will always do its job. Heavy side will always go down. Once it stops moving, your heavy side will be at the bottom, your light side at the top. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit because I don't.
I should probably not bounce with my big.
Yeah,
body.
Chris was walking around behind it on stage, too. That doesn't help. So
See?
It keeps it.
It won't affect the balance, but it might move the balancer a little bit. So heavy side down, light side up. We've got spoke weights that we make for spoke wheels, reusable, stackable. With this wheel, I'm going to use stick-on weights. It's kind of a learning process as far as changing the tires and balancing them, finding what weight works. I usually start off with about 2 inches or 4 or 5 blocks, clip them off.
What's that?
So I got my light side at the top. I'll take it and go a quarter turn. So now my heavy side's over here, my light side's over here.
Right.
I want to add weight to this side to make it match the other side. So I'll tag some weight on there. Put weight on there, it's going up. That means there's not enough weight. It means it needs more. So I'm going to take about 5 more. And the idea is when you get the right amount of weight on there and it's balanced, it will not move.
I'm usually balanced on Sunday afternoons then because I try not to move on Sunday afternoons.
So other than that, you're out of balance?
Yeah. He's my best friend. He's laughed at 2 things I've said so far. This is the 3rd show. I think you're the only person that's ever laughed, sir. I appreciate that.
So it's not moving. It's balanced. It's not going down, so I didn't put too much weight. It's not going up. Balance.
Perfect.
And the neat thing about our balances is they're accurate to within a 32nd of an ounce. Highly accurate. As long as you don't bend this rod, this thing will last a lifetime for you and give you accurate balance.
So you basically don't use a rod for anything other than what you're using it
It's
for.
a wheel balancing rod. It's not a pry bar.
It's not a pry bar. It's, typically, any straight bar in my shop, everybody decides it's a pry bar, whether it's a motorcycle axle or whatever it is. Oh, no, that'll work. I couldn't possibly bend that. So.
Axle driver.
Yeah, well, that seems too easy. You guys should have made it a little more complicated because if people won't bring their tires to my shop if they find out that they can do this at home. But I'll have to come up with another racket. I'll have to go by the Harley dealer and see how they're screwing people. I was kidding.
Hundreds
of dollars. We love Harley Davidson and their service department.
I've actually got a funny story as far as that goes. My own personal experience, I went to a shop that changed tires. I had actually ordered my own tire, shipped to my house, brought them my wheel. They put the tire on. I had PM wheels, nice quality billet wheel. And they're the same tire I ran for years, very well-balanced tire. Usually took about a quarter ounce to half ounce to balance this tire. Took it to the shop. They put 1.5 ounces on my wheel. And I asked them, they use a spin balancer. I asked them, is that right? Yeah. And I've worked in the automotive industry. I worked at tire shops for years. I know my way around a car and a balancing machine. And they said it's right. I'm like, there's no way. I said, it's never taken that much weight. Left there, carrying my wheel. I had a sport bike, a very fast sport bike. I like to see the top end of the speedometer, and I knew it wasn't right. I called a friend of mine, and he's like, hey, take it to Nomar.
Life.
I'm like, why didn't I go in there in the first place? So I took it down there, talked to Steve. Steve's the owner. I said, hey, can you check this balance for me? He puts it on the balancer, and it dropped like a rock. I've never just looked at him like, that's not right. He pulled it off, put a quarter ounce on a different side of the wheel, and it was perfect. I got on there, opened it up, smooth as can be. Called the other shop. I'm like, hey, you need to recalibrate your spin balancer because it's
and
wrong.
That's the problem. Guys get those balancers, and they never have them recalibrated. They get installed, and they never recalibrate.
It's there till it dies.
Yep.
Once it dies, they put another one in.
You really need to recalibrate those things at least once a year, but you should really do it every quarter if you're doing a bunch of tires. And guys hate to pay for it. So that's right. So gravity will never fail you, man.
Nope.
It's the same every time. So. Well, Corey, you appreciate it, and Nomar is set up in the corner over there.
220.
220. So if you leave here and just go to the opposite corner of the building, you will be in Nomar's booth. Corey, it's always good to see you. Tell the girls, the Kardashian girls, I said hello.
Will do.
And Chris, do you want to tell him how nice he is?
No, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming up here. Thanks for keeping
really
me from
appreciate it, Corey.
ruining a brand new set of wheels.
If you can hang out with us if you want in our garage. If not, you don't have to go back to work.
It still work, I guess.
It still work. All right, you guys are doing really good over here. Kind of making.
Well, I got some homemade wheel protectors here. Oh, okay.
Because that's the way today's going.
And we're just mocking this up. So
yeah, just going to mock it up.
I want to kind of take a look at how it's
That's starting to look pretty killer, man. I don't know.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's burly.
The jigsaw front end does look good on there.
Yeah, with wire wheels, man, you just.
So much to do. We actually have so much work to do that we've made a deal that over the next week, once we get back from this, we start into the Christmas break. We're going to be shooting Facebook Live almost around the clock while we're working on this bike because we have tons of actual finish welding on the frame. We have to finish up some of our bung work. We have to get the tank mounted and to be properly prepared for the last 4 shows.
Well, and to go back to Long Beach, will you at the next show, are you going to have this? You'll have the frame all smoothed and everything with so you'll you're going to be brazing that.
And I talked to Danny from Zippers. The motor is in process. We should have some video on that, if not by the time we leave here, shortly after. So the motor's going to be ready. We have our belt drive system coming in. Our front end is finally handled. I think all we're looking at is a little bit of stuff with our swing arm. We're waiting for some bearings to come in on that, and probably by the end of this weekend, we're going to have this in a solid rolling chassis.
Solid rolling chassis, so the motor can go in and out.
Yep.
All right, man. Well,
doing pretty good with War
Pony is coming along. How much time we got? We're done?
10 minutes.
All right. Well, we need to be finishing up so that they can get the next thing on stage. But, well, War Pony is coming along. And again, folks, for those of you who just joined us, either here live or on Facebook Live, War Pony is a bike that the Grease and Gears Garage crew, we're going to build each show starting in Long Beach, finishing up in Washington, D.C. It'll eventually, when it comes off stage in Washington, D.C., it's going to be a riding motorcycle. Chris is going to ride it from Washington, D.C. back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in February. He's not listening, so can we hold him to that, Mark? Now he's committed because he kind of agreed. No, yeah. So, but anyway,
let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with us with Grease and Gears Garage. And we're going to be back tomorrow doing a whole bunch of cool stuff.
I got it. Go ahead.
Jackie, what have we got going in the Progressive Parlor right now? Absolutely nothing. That's good to hear. No, they've got Danny over there in Flo's Chop Shop. Danny from Pandemonium Cycles. Danny, wave to the people. Danny is doing a bunch of really cool stuff over there, showing you how to do maintenance, basic maintenance to your motorcycle. They've got the grinder area over here where if you're a Progressive policy holder, you can go over there and get a cup of coffee. They've got T-shirts, hats, all kinds of giveaways and stuff. They're giving away a motorcycle, this motorcycle that was built by Disowned Customs, right in the middle there. So get over there. That's what makes Progressive Motorcycle Insurance #1 in motorcycle insurance, because they care. They're going to do all the things that build the relationship with you. They're one of you. They've been insuring motorcycles since 1964, way before you met the nicest people on a Honda. Thanks for being with us on Grease and Gears Garage Stage.
We'll put this in the magazine.